Welcome back to the Dare to Dream podcast. My name is Vincent Van Patten, and this is a podcast to inspire you to embark on the adventure of your life. So, I am in what we might call a transition period right now. I'm back home in Los Angeles, staying with my family, and I've been here for a few weeks. Going to be here for a few more weeks. And it has been the best month of my life. No lie. It's just been such a cool period of experiences, meeting people, doing meaningful work, making connections, and just feeling more attuned with my destiny and just my purpose than perhaps I've ever felt. And, you could call it a transition period because I don't know what the next step looks like in my life, in my career, in my dreams and aspirations, but I've never felt so at peace with what I'm doing. And I want to talk today about just why that is and what I've been experiencing. And hopefully this could help you navigate these transition periods in your own life. And this idea is inspired in a big way by the Mark Groves podcast, where he talks about transition periods. But Greg, partner in crime on the show, sent me that podcast, and it just applies so much to what I am going through right now. And a big reason for it, a big reason for the transition and just the feelings that I'm feeling, it started at Burning Man. And we did a whole episode a couple episodes ago, diving into Burning Man and what it meant to me. And I promise I'm not going to be just talking about Burning Man for every episode for the rest of this show. However, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. And one of the things that it taught me is just to kind of trust myself, to trust what I'm feeling, to trust who I am in these unique and peak experiences, and to not just throw away that feeling when it's over and just kind of return to everyday life and be like, that was that, this is this, but to be like, what did I feel out there? How do I bring it into my life? And what does it mean? What does it mean to have these deep, life-changing experiences? Is that why we're on this earth? To truly push ourselves and have these experiences that just open our minds to what is possible in the world and in ourselves? Or is the rest of it life? You know? Um, and it's both life. But we are so conditioned to believe that those experiences take us away from normal life. They're crazy, they're outlandish, they are, just not for everybody. And maybe they're not. Burning Man, I don't think is for everybody. It is a trying experience to say the least, and it takes a lot, but it gives you so much in return. It's just such a heart opening, soul enriching experience. And part of it is because it's so difficult. It's a challenge to be out there and to shed all comforts and shed parts of your past and yourself. And you go into these dark and deep places and you hurt and you cry and you hold people and you do things that maybe you wouldn't do in everyday life. I think a lot of things you wouldn't do in everyday life. And it tells you about who you are. So I'm speaking quite philosophically here, but a tangible thing and how it feeds in everything else. So my story, what's been happening for the last month. Let's get into it. At Burning Man, I realized, so I'm gonna take a step back before that. I decided to go to Burning Man like a week before when one of my best friends, Thatcher, threw out the idea a few days before I was even going to come to America. And 2 weeks before that, I wasn't even planning to come home to the United States. I realized that after this intense summer in Japan, the spiritual odyssey that I was on to heal my chronic back pain that I've been dealing with for 6 years, I'm like, I just need a fucking break. Like, I need to see my friends and family. I'm so in my own head and just going through it right now. I need a change of pace. And talked about this in that episode a couple episodes ago of breaking your routine. Like, I thought, I needed to stick to my routine. I needed to continue this spiritual odyssey, and breaking it would break the momentum that I was creating. Then I realized maybe that's exactly what I need. I need to do something crazy and so out of my comfort zone, and that shatters the routine and gives me a new perspective and lets me see myself in a new way as I'm coming out of this spiritual odyssey and realizing that the healing that I've been looking for is inside of me. It's not that I have to work out 6 times a week to heal. It's that I just need to see myself in a new way and unpack the things in my life that have been holding me back spiritually, mentally, and emotionally more than physically. So I'm like, yeah, I think I got to go to Burning Man. I need to spend some time with my friends, some quality time, days before my birthday, before I turn 29. Like, this opportunity, because what's a lifetime? Do not miss your chance to blow. In the words of Eminem, he sums it up beautifully. And I'm like, I got to go. This is it. This is happening for a reason. I'm coming home at this time for a reason, and I got to go. And boy, am I glad I did. It was absolutely life-changing. And something I realized, it seems kind of inconsequential, but I realized how important style is to me. Going into Burning Man, I went Tokyo thrifting a few days before. Spent like 3 days just going to different little pockets of Tokyo, Shimokitazawa, Koenji, kind of just like thrift hubs, vintage stores and stuff. And I was walking through. Oh, this is a cool story. I was in Shimokitazawa, which is kind of the most well-known thrift neighborhood in Tokyo. It's touristy, but it's freaking awesome. And I'm cruising through. Nothing's jumping out at me yet. Nothing super sick. There are in Japan a lot of the thrift stores are very Americanized, so they have a lot of just American things like polo and vintage like football jerseys and such. It's cool. But I'm like, I want some like Japanese shit that is unique to me. I wasn't putting too much pressure on it. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. And, I'm looking for the perfect thing. Classic. And I'm just cruising. I haven't gotten anything yet. The sun's starting to go down. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, just stop looking. Just enjoy this time in this neighborhood, watching the sun go down and just being here in this beautiful setup stage and setup stage of life. Take a sip. This is my favorite mug. If you're watching this on YouTube, I come home to America just to drink coffee from this mug from Austin, Joe's, Texas. Delightful. And I'm cruising through Shimo, and sun's going down, and there's kind of a few different types of stores. There's the big box store that sells, there's just racks upon racks of clothing, and I tend to avoid those. I'm not a treasure hunter per se, where I'm just diving through the racks and looking for stuff. I like stores that are smaller and have like select items, and when you know it's good, it's good. It's kind of what I look for. A nice happy medium, if you will. Not like outrageously expensive, but just like tasteful. Um, not a lot of things. And this goes for food too. Less things on the menu, less choice, and they do what they do right. I like that in stores and restaurants. That being said, I'm walking through and I see just these two people talking out in front of the store, and Japanese people and speaking Japanese, don't know what they're saying, but behind them is just this like stairwell up into the second story. So there's the big box stores, and then there's like these just niche little, just interesting little cuts that you don't really see the storefront. You kind of have to go find him. And I passed one, and this happens. I don't know about often, but from time to time, where I feel a call to go in a place or to say hi to somebody or to do something. I literally walk past the store and I feel the call. I'm like, um, let's check that out. I backtrack. People, the guy talking in front of the store might be the owner, just working there, not really sure, but he's like, going up. I'm like, okay. And I head up, and it's just like this weird little interesting vibe. And I knew just from like there was a few items hanging in the hallway to enter that it was a very unique niche place and kind of what I was looking for. Quite strange. Just like interesting lighting, and it was cool. And I get in there, the guy who's hanging outside comes up and start perusing, and it's the jackpot. The sickest little like bracelets that I got, one for me, one for my buddy, and just weird little trinkets and cool shirts. The All made by this guy too. We start talking, and he's just this hilarious Japanese dude and long like blue hair, handmade like jewelry, and he has these like Pokemon masks on the wall. Just Mew, my favorite Pokemon. Um, and he's got this little ocarina from Zelda. I'm getting into the weeds here, but this beautiful, if you know the old Zelda games, the Ocarina of Time, he has one with like a yin and yang symbol, the Tao Te Ching on the ocarina, like hand painted, beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wasn't for sale, but I just could tell this was a hot spot. I find this jacket that is from the anime Akari, and it's the one that the main character wears in the movie. It's so dope, fits perfect, and got like that, a couple shirts, a couple bracelets. It was just so that was the vibe. And I go to Burning Man with just this very wacky, strange, quirky outfit of like a this cowboy hat, which I'll show right here if you're watching. There's a little flower attachment on the front. Had these like French 90s shades that I got at this thrift store in my neighborhood of Nakano. It was just the experience of thrifting and putting together this outfit was like very meaningful. There's this store. So I live in Nakano in Tokyo, and there's this thrift store that's just seemingly in the middle of. I just wonder why it's there. It's like this residential little neighborhood, and then there's just this little cutty thrift store. And I've been in a few times. The owner is just a homie. This dude. We talk, and I speak a little Japanese. He speaks a little English. I got these crazy 90 French shades. If you're listening to this, you might want to tune into the YouTube because I'm showing off the goods. These 90 shades. I mean, Burning Man. They are yellow on the front. If you're listening, metal frame. They look like Speed Racer, Mad Max. Very odd, but I'm pretty fired up on them. And they pretty much didn't leave my face during Burning Man. And I had these just insane pants. Anyways, the outfit, it came together, and just it was like one experience after the next, like getting those glasses at the my neighborhood thrift store, and then talking to this guy, and he was so fired up that I was like excited about his stuff because it's his company. It's called Adult Virus in Shimokitazawa, and he just loved that I was in there and just like buying his stuff and just excited about the fact that he was hand making everything, and it was a connection. And that is what like style means to me. It was very strange and weird, and that's what style is. It's not this uniform canvas with this uniform structure where it has to be a certain way. Style is not a thing. It's the canvas itself, if that makes sense. It's not the painting. It's not what you wear. it is how you wear it. It's how it connects with you and what it means to you and where it comes from. And that's what I love about it. And for the last like couple of years, I would say, I've become more and more comfortable with just who I am and wearing what I wear. And, I dyed my hair for the first time, like on my Europe trip, which was like almost 2.5 years ago. It's something I wanted to do. And I just did it. And yeah, it looked a little weird having blue hair in like San Diego. It's abnormal, but people dug it. I like it. And I have blue hair in Europe, and it's just like, I don't know. I want to do these things and I don't want to regret not doing them. Getting my nose pierced, dyeing my hair blonde again. Not going to be young forever. And these are the times where I want to say, yeah, I tried it. It was pretty weird. Like dyeing my hair all long blonde was quite strange. But I did it. And I'm just becoming more comfortable with who I am. And it's all related. I'm saying this stuff not just because I'm just saying, like, it's for a reason. As I become more comfortable in my writing and in my career and what I want, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, I'm becoming more comfortable in my own skin. And that is something that people recognize and respect because it's something we all want. We want to stick out and be ourselves, but we are afraid to because it's scary. It's scary to stick out from the crowd, especially when that means people might see you differently, or if it goes against what your parents might think or what your friends might think. But this is the theme of today, is that we are here to adhere to that call. It's bigger than us. There's something bigger than us that is trying to express itself through us. And we can either listen to that call and say, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I'm ready to be me. What do I got to do? Guide me. Or we could shut it up and say, oh, I can't. I can't speak my mind. I can't dye my hair. I can't quit my job and open up a fruit stand. That'd be weird. Selling green mangoes. Why not? Because it's different. It's weird. And we're afraid of that. We're not so much afraid of that. We're afraid of what the world might think. And so Burning Man showed me, like, I just had so much fun, in my own style at Burning Man and dancing by myself and just losing myself in it. That I realized, like, wow, this is who I am and it's who I'm becoming. And I'm becoming just more comfortable with this quirky Vinny because it's who I am at my core, and it's just peeling back the layers of that more and more. And as I do, I'm seeing my writing deeper and better responses to it and stuff because people are responding to that authenticity, because that is something that we are truly craving and we want right now. The world is bereft of authenticity. We're all becoming just pushed into the middle of what we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to think, what we're supposed to say yes to. And it deprives us of our inherent nature, it deprives us of our purpose and meaning. And that is peeling back those layers of who we are. And after Burning Man, I'm just like, damn, that was like an expression of me. And I was driving home. I was on the Central Coast like a week and a half ago. Driving home, have a sip of coffee. And it hit me. I just want to embrace being uncommon. I was on a run. So on that drive home, I stopped for a coffee at Avila Beach, and I just turned into a run. And at first I was on the beach. I was a little embarrassed, like I'm just sticking out and looking weird, doing like squats on the beach and stuff. But I'm like, fuck it. If being healthy and running on the beach makes you stand out, then goddamn, it's a good thing. And it just hit me like, whoa, be uncommon. That is my slogan. That is what I aspire to be. And we are all uncommon. We're us. Our DNA is like no one else on planet Earth, yet because of conditioning, because of social pressure, we fall into the trap of becoming common and thinking that's what we're supposed to be. And goddamn, is it easier? It's easier to be common. We know what to do. There's a path, but it deprives us of the juice of life. And that's what we are here to seek and to attain. And I'm driving home just feeling so good after the workout and got this be uncommon theme just roaring through me. Like, wow, that is it. And I'm like, okay. I was just thinking about life and it hit me that what I truly want is to have my own magazine one day where I bring together these different interests and passions into one place. And I was inspired by that because of what I learned at Burning Man, that style is so important to me and where it comes from and the stories behind it. That was so cool. And I love the noticing the different styles of different cultures, like Japanese style, and I think Italian style is awesome, and like just the similarities and differences between them, where it comes from, why the style, where does it derive, like from history and from the culture and from necessity, like Russian. I don't know why just Russian just popped in my mind, but like when I think of necessity, you got fur coats and like war, freaking. um, I don't know. I think their style comes from war. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Anyways, that stuff fascinates me. And creating my first book, Errors of Youth, designing it, doing the colors and photography and everything like that brought me so much joy. I love design. I love magazine design. I love just like white space and the way pictures look and the way that paper feels and the fonts. I love fonts. I love playing with them. I love the way they look, obviously. I just love the way that words look. And that's something that if you're a writer and you're listening to this, maybe this will inspire you or not. I use big, interesting words sometimes, and they sit, a lot of people say, write as if you're writing to a 3-year-old. Maybe that's a bit young. Like a 9-year-old. I don't know if a 3-year-old would get what I'm trying to say at Burning Man. About Burning Man. I write to a 9-year-old, make it as clear and simple as possible. And I try to do that in the way that I'm telling the story or whatever. But I like to use interesting words that make you feel something. Like solace, to me, reminds me of the sun, solar. And finding solace in something means finding comfort in it, finding peace. And I don't know why, but I like the way that word looks. That's just the first one that came to mind. Um, Evanescent. Maybe you don't know what it means, but maybe it makes you look it up if you read that. It means something that's disappearing. A sun that's evanescent is quickly fading from view. And I just like how that sounds when you read it. You could say the sun is setting, or you could say the evanescent sun is no longer with us. I don't know. And I like the way the words look on the page and how they add up and stuff like that. And so I'm going to write the way that I want to write. And that makes me happy. And I think that relates to being comfortable in my own skin and what I'm doing and being unapologetic for it, being unapologetically you, doing what feels right and what excites you. And I had this, so back to the magazine, I'm like, damn, that is it. Like, I don't think I want to be a fashion designer. It sounds like, I don't love the idea of seasonal clothing where you're designing clothes for every season and the turnover and the constant in and out. I love simple, few things that are just time worn and they're yours. couple good jackets, one for each season that you just love, and this is you've taken care of and you've restitched and they got stories. I like my clothes to have stories. That's it. That sums it up. So I realized that it's like, okay, I don't want to be a fashion designer. Obviously, I love writing. That's a big part of it, but the experiences and the creation is the ultimate. Is the ultimate. It's what I'm striving towards. I'm going to continue writing these books, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm pursuing. But I'm also, there's this bigger picture that I have, a solar system, if you will. And maybe the magazine is the sun, and all of these interests are the planets which revolve around it. And it's the writing, it's the travel stories, it's timeless articles. I hated news reporting and I hated journalism because I just did not like the time worthiness aspect of writing stories. And you write it, it's just facts. You read it and you got the information. Like, no, I want to create art with my words, and you can read it in 50 years or 500 and it'll be like, whoa, that says something about human beings, not just about who knows what. So having this idea that I think the magazine is really what I want to strive towards. And that gives me a sense of peace. Like, I'm really inspired by Kevin Kelly, who's the founder of Wired magazine. And he says, do something in your 20s that looks nothing like success. It looks like the opposite of success. That will be the cornerstone of your success later on. He traveled throughout China in his 20s doing photography and just exploring. And he was fascinated by it. And he's since written books on China, on just Asia, called maybe Forgotten Asia or something, that just are beautiful. And they really inspire me. Um, like that. And he seems happy. He seems like he built something that means something to him. And that is why I believe I'm on this earth, is to follow that inclination, to follow that desire, to follow that joy. I'm sure you could hear it in my voice. It brings me so much joy just thinking about it, and to feel like I have this thing, like this direction in which to walk. And you have that. You have everything, I believe. You have a direction, and no matter what happens, it feels like I have, say, I'm at a bowling ring and looking down the lane, I feel like the gutters are up. You know, the gutter walls. And if I'm pinging along, which I will do, keep pinging, now the walls will guide me. And I will now do things, whether I know it or not, that guide me towards this dream. I will say yes to things that move me in the direction of having my own magazine and brand rather than not. And just as important as knowing what you want to do and the direction in which you want to walk is knowing what you don't want to do and who you aren't. And that's becoming more and more clear. Like, I want to make money. That's obviously a part of life, but money is just freedom. I don't want to make it just to make it. I want to, I just been thinking about this. Like, I'm still trying to find my day job in Japan where I make money just to help me live while I'm pursuing my passions and what gives me life. And I'm like, wow, it's going to be awesome one day where I don't have to think about my day job, where I'm just traveling and writing books about it and working on this magazine. And I'm getting paid for it. Like, that is my life, my job, and the podcast as well. And like, that is my goal. That is the dream. And that's the life I'm designing. I want to work as hard as I possibly can on these dreams because they give me life and I love it. And when you get to that point, it's not going to feel like work. And writing does not feel like work to me. It's something I have to do. I just published my Burning Man story where it's just walking through the entire experience, and it's poetic, and it's the way that I write. And I had to write it. I couldn't be here 3 weeks after knowing that I didn't tell the story, which is pretty wild. I don't know why that's in my DNA, but something's happening where I just have to have these experiences and tell the world about how they change us and how they open up our eyes and renew our consciousness as human beings and as animals. And now that I have this dream, this idea, this direction, I just feel a sense of peace, even though I don't know the next step, even though I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. I know where I want to go. And it's not like I could just sit back and do nothing. I'm working and I'm writing and I'm thinking about just what I'm going to do next. But I feel just calmer and like just able to enjoy where I'm at because I've come to this place. I have the love, and thinking about it just makes me excited. And it's what I want to dedicate my life to. And it's scary. Like, it's almost weird for me to say this stuff because I know how hard it is to find what you want to do with your life and to find your passions. And me not sharing my dreams and stuff because of that fear could only do more harm than good. Sharing it, sharing your dreams, sharing what you want to do and who you are, it heals others. It's healing to us and it heals others. Keeping that inside, that's not the way because we're afraid to make other people feel bad. No. When we heal, others heal. And when we're inspired, it inspires others to dig deep and ask why they are on this earth as well. And it's crazy. Like going all in on yourself. What does that mean? I'm in this place right now where it's like life is just happening and it feels authentic and it feels real and it feels like I'm attuned to my destiny. I just got a literary agent, which was the next huge step for my book writing. And honestly, I didn't believe I could really do it, which is weird to say. I don't know if I've said that out loud. It almost brings tears to my eyes. And I was gonna self-publish again, the second book that I'm about Europe that I'm almost done with. And it was the easier way. And I told myself I want to design it again and I just want to get this thing done. I want to get it off my plate, I want to move on to the next thing. But then the universe guided me to this person, this agent, and I feared that I sent them my book, the second book, about my journey through Europe, sent them a chapter as well, and I feared the worst. I'm like, oh, what if they're like, just don't like it or whatever? And it was the opposite. And for the first time, I feel like validated by a professional, by the industry, and it's tells me that you do have what it takes. You are on your way. You are a writer, and you are worth it. And I can't even explain what is happening and how it feels to take this step. And this is basically so you need a literary agent to get with the publisher. It's pretty much impossible to just directly reach out to publishers to publish your book. You need an agent. So it's really damn exciting and a little nod from the universe, you know? This is the next stone, and each stone leads to the next. And at the time, we might not know what it means, but it all is happening for a reason. Let me tell you. And this is all happening at the same time, this magazine idea and just understanding myself better and slowly, but kind of unashamedly and I don't know, savagely or openly, I don't know, adverbs, being more just me and comfortable with me and being like, fuck it, this is who I am and who I want to be, and it's fun, and this is what I'm going to do. It's all happening together at this point where I can either go all in on me or continue to just be afraid. And it's all happening for a reason. It's all happening now. And we can either take that leap, dive in, and say, this is fucking me. This is what I want to do. I'm not going to hold back anymore. Or we could dip a toe in and, you know, be half in, half out about it. But I think we got to just dive in. And that's the scariest thing because we don't know what's on the other side. Like, I do not, it's insane being where I am right now. If I were to think 2 years ago when I was just leaving for Japan, what would my life be like in 2 years? Couldn't have imagined it would be like this. I was just starting the book about Europe, and I couldn't imagine I would be living in Tokyo, and it's just all this stuff has happened, healing my back. We don't know what the future contains, obviously, and that's a scary thing. We don't want to dive in because of that fear of the unknown. So what is it? How do we take that next step? How do we get to that next place? I feel called, and why I was saying before I feel the sense of peace is because it feels like there's this future Vinny that's like, dude, and I had this kind of revelation yesterday. Like, I'm still healing my back. It's not 100% healed. It's still in the process, but I had this just like this exhale of, you're on the path now. So it doesn't need to happen immediately. And this pertains to the writing and the career and everything we're doing. Like I was saying, when you have that star, it's like, it's a relief. It's a big relief. It's like, you're on the path. So just be okay with it. Whatever happens on the way is meant to be. It's part of the journey. It's another stone that may lead to the next, or that might make sense 10 stones later. I'm talking about like stones in a path. If you didn't pick that up, there's a future self that's calling to us and saying, yo, wake up. I'm here. You're here. You gotta take a chance if you want to awaken one day and be proud of what you've done and who you are. I don't say like proud of what you've done in the sense you have to do a bunch of stuff, but just proud of what you've done for you. Taking a stand for yourself, taking a chance to be yourself, taking a shot in your dream. No matter if it fucking works out, taking a shot will give you so much more meaning. Taking a shot and it not working out will give you so much more meaning than never taking the chance and always wondering. And there is that voice. We all got it. It's telling us this is either right for you or it's not. This is what you got to do. You just got to listen. You got to listen. I've become just more okay with the fact that I do want to travel the world and that experiences are so important to me. I couldn't have had the magazine idea if I was still fearful of, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be traveling, or maybe I'm supposed to settle down, or anything like that. Now I know what I want. I'm going to go for it. In 20 years, maybe I will be settled down. Maybe in 10 years, 5 years, who knows? But right now, just turned 29. I want to travel the fucking world. I want to have experiences and live in new places. I want to write and explore and have adventures. It is what my soul and my spirit craves, and I can't deny it. Can't deny it. And I might have to finish with this letter by George Mack is this writer that writes online. He's very popular. My good buddy Greg, you might know him. He's the other other guy on this podcast. He sent me this, and George Mack is writing an article on the dangers of low agency, which means you're just not taking life into your own hands. You're letting life happen to you, and instead of happening to life. He writes about low agency, and he posted a article from this guy on Reddit that he found in his research. I'm just going to read it. It gave me goosebumps. It woke me up. It inspired me to do this podcast this morning. So listen up. Hi, my name is John. I've been lurking for a while, but I finally made an account to post this. I need to get my life off my chest. About me. I'm a 46-year-old banker. I've been living my whole life the opposite of how I wanted. All my dreams, my passion, gone. In a steady 9-to-7 job, 6 days a week, for 26 years. I repeatedly chose the safe path for everything, which eventually changed who I was. Today I found out my wife has been cheating on me for the last 10 years. My son feels nothing for me. I realized I missed my father's funeral for nothing. I didn't complete my novel, didn't travel the world, helping the homeless. All these things I thought I knew to be a certainty about myself when I was in my late teens and early 20s. If my younger self had met me today, I'd have punched myself in the face. I'll get to how those dreams were crushed soon. Let's start with the description of me when I was 20. It seemed only yesterday when I was sure I was going to change the world. People loved me, and I loved people. I was innovative, creative, spontaneous, risk-taking, and great with people. I had 2 dreams. The first was writing a utopic, dystopic novel. The second was traveling the world and helping the poor and homeless. I've been dating my wife for 4 years by then. Young love. She loved my spontaneity, my energy, my ability to make people laugh and feel loved. I knew my book was going to change the world. I would show the perspective of the bad and the twisted, showing my viewers that everybody thinks differently, that people never think what they do is wrong. I was 70 pages through when I was 20. I'm still 70 pages in at 46. By 20, I'd backpacking around New Zealand and the Philippines. I planned to do all of Asia, then Europe, then America. I live in Australia, by the way. To date, I've only been to New Zealand and the Philippines. Now we get to where it all went wrong. My biggest regrets. I was 20. I was the only child. I needed to be stable. I needed to take that graduate job, which would dictate my whole life. To devote my entire life in a 9-to-7 job. What was I thinking? How could I live when the job was my life? After coming home, I would eat dinner, prepare my work for the following day, and sleep at 10 p.m. To wake up at 6 a.m. the following day. God, I don't remember the last time I made love to my wife. Yesterday, my wife admitted to cheating on me for the last 10 years. 10 years. That seemed like a long time, but I can't comprehend it. It doesn't even hurt. She says it's because I've changed. I'm not the person I was. What have I been doing in the last 10 years? Outside of work, I really can't say anything. Not being a proper husband, not being me. Who am I? What happened to me? I didn't even ask for a divorce or yell at her or cry. I felt nothing. Now I can feel a tear as I write this. But not because my wife has been cheating on me, but because I'm now realizing I've been dying inside. What happened to the fun-loving, risk-taking, energetic person that was me, hungering to change the world? I remember being asked on a date by the most popular girl in the school, but declining her for my now wife. God, I was really popular with the girls in high school, and university too, but I stayed loyal. I didn't explore. I studied every day. Remember all that backpacking and book writing I told you about? That was all in the first few years of college. I worked part-time and splurged all that I'd earned. Now I save every penny. I don't remember a time I spent anything on anything funny, on anything for myself. What do I even want now? My father passed 10 years ago. I remember getting calls from Mom telling me he was getting sicker and sicker. I was getting busier and busier on the verge of a big promotion. I kept putting my visit off, hoping in my mind he would hold on. He died, and I got my promotion. I haven't seen him in 15 years. When he died, I told myself it didn't matter what I didn't see. It didn't matter that I didn't see him, Being an atheist, I rationalized that being dead, it wouldn't matter anyway. What was I thinking? Rationalizing everything, making excuses to put things off. Excuses, procrastination. It all leads to one thing: nothing. I rationalized that financial security was the most important thing. I now know that it is definitely not. I regret doing nothing with my energy when I had it. My passions, my youth. I regret letting my job take over my life. I regret being an awful husband, money-making machine. I regret not finishing my novel, nor traveling the world, not being emotionally there for my son, being a damn emotionless wallet. If you're reading this and you have a whole life ahead of you, please don't procrastinate. Don't leave your dreams for later. Relish in your energy, your passions. Don't stay on the internet with all your spare time unless your passion needs it. Please do something with your life while you're young. Do not settle down at 20. Do not forget your friends, your family, yourself. Do not waste your life, your ambitions, like I did mine. Do not be like me. Ooh, my God. I got chills. What to even say about that? What to even say? We got two directions. The meaning that we crave, it's on the other side of the fear. The fear of not having enough money, not being enough, of our dreams failing. That's the life you need to live. It's all there. And it seems like this overwhelming thing, like you have to do it all at once. You have to figure it out all now. You don't. Take one step that scares you, one step inward, closer to who you truly are, your authentic, uncommon self. Fucking dream, man. Dare to dream. And fucking live. I feel it in my bones. The future self is calling. This is the direction you're meant to walk. You won't know exactly how it's going to go. You don't know exactly the way the path will lead, but you know that there's a next step. It's either towards the life that this guy describes: security, safety, comfort, or it's into the fucking void. And that is where all potential resides. It's so goddamn exciting. You got your life. We got one life. Make it yours. Fucking own it. Make the change now. Look back in 20 years and be like, fucking A, I did it. I took my shot. Maybe it took me in a completely different place than I thought I was going to go. And maybe that's the greatest thing that could ever happen. Take that goddamn step. Ooh, feeling it. You got us. We are in this together. We are on this journey together. We are on this planet together. Going after it. Enjoy it. Fucking thrive in it. Face it. And love every step of the way. Much love, y'all. Thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this if it fired you up, if it inspired you, if it got you thinking. Subscribe, do what you got to do. On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. Helps out a lot. And we just want to make this show grow and inspire more people and keep having interesting conversations, even if it's just me talking to myself. And God damn. So grateful for this, for y'all. Thank you for being here. We love you. Peace.